7 bone-chilling lake house horror tales. When the water's calm, but nightmares arise. The moon hung low, casting an eerie glow over the still waters of Lake Shadowtide, where secrets lurk just beneath the surface. Whispers of long-forgotten tales echoed in the trees, mingling with the soft rustling of leaves. It was here at the old lake house that fear took on a new form, twisting into shapes that sent shivers down the spine. Locals avoided the place like the plague, with warnings that sent a chill through anyone daring enough to listen. If the water's calm, it means something is waiting. Inside the house, walls creaked like old bones, and shadows danced as if alive. An abandoned rocking chair swayed back and forth, seemingly pushed by the ghostly fingerprints of a child who perished too soon. Every night, a haunting melody echoed through the air, a lullaby sung from a time when joy filled the now decaying rooms. On the shores, fishermen spoke of strange fish surface glimmering scales like forgotten treasure, their eyes reflecting depths of unfathomable darkness. What lay below was far worse, tales of bodies tethered to cries from the depths, forever caught in watery despair. Yet, the strangest phenomenon occurred after the sun dipped below the horizon. Footprints emerged along the beach, leading nowhere. Who was walking along the shore at night? They didn't belong to any living soul, for they vanished just as quickly as the morning mist burned away. As if in agreement, crickets fell silent, leaving an unsettling void of sound that washed over the night like a tidal wave, leaving everyone breathless. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. But the air thickened as darkness deepened. One night, a storm lashed out, sending waves crashing against the very foundation of the lake house. In the midst of the chaos, a voice soft and trembling could be heard over the thunder. An anguished cry rose from the churning water, chilling the hearts of those who dared to listen. It was said that no one could survive the curse of the lake, yet the lonesome call beckoned countless souls with promises of untold discoveries hidden beneath the waves. The question hung in the air like the weight of accumulated dread: would anyone dare to uncover what was buried deep in Lake Shadowtide, awakening the slumbering horrors that called it home? What awaited beneath that calm facade, and could it ever be contained? Lightning flickered through the sky, illuminating the trembling walls of the lake house. Each flash revealed glimpses of peeling wallpaper and the remnants of a forgotten past, laughing through time like deranged phantoms. The storm was fierce, but the real tempest was the one brewing inside Jennifer. She had come here to find solace, to escape her suffocating life. Instead, each clap of thunder drummed against her chest, echoing the fear she had hoped to escape. As the wind howled, tugging at loose boards, something stirred in the depths of the lake. The water churned, restless and angry, rising like a sleeping giant, ready to retaliate against its tormentors. Jennifer stared out the window, her breath hitching as she caught a sight out of the corner of her eye. Glimmers cut through the darkness. It was a figure, emerging from the water, draped in shadows soaked in moonlight. Her heart raced, hammering so loudly it drowned out the storm. Had she really seen someone? The figure vanished just as quickly as it appeared. Doubt clawed at her mind. Just my imagination, she reassured herself. It had to be. But she couldn't shake the feeling, like icy fingers creeping up her spine. That a loud crash disrupted the silence. The sound seemed to slice through the roaring winds. It came from the kitchen. Mustering what little bravery she had left, she tiptoed down the creaking stairs, each step a fight against fear. What awaited her felt like a weight pressing down on her, coaxing her to turn back. Yet curiosity propelled her forward. Peering around the corner, she gasped. The kitchen door swung open as if something was waiting to be unleashed. The cold air rushed out, enveloping her like a shroud, suffocating and thick. Jennifer could feel a tingle of static in the air, an electric anticipation that sent her heart racing. Before she could retreat, a chilling lullaby drifted through the air, weaving its way around her. It was the same haunting melody that echoed through the old house every night. Her knees weakened, and she instinctively grasped the doorframe for support. The words, muffled by the storm, begged for attention. Was it the voice of the child so long lost to the depths? Lightning illuminated the room, and in that fleeting moment, Jennifer saw it not just the demonic gleam of water dripping from the ceiling but something else. A reflection caught her eye. In the darkness of the window, for one brief second, she swore she saw the face of a girl, her eyes full of pleading anguish. Panic threatened to consume her. Who was this child? Was she the one who had died, tethered to the lake's tragic history? Footsteps echoed behind her, slow and deliberate. Someone was approaching. Jennifer spun around, her heart thrumming against her ribs like a caged bird, but there was nothing there. The kitchen was empty. Just as relief began to settle with unease, a whisper reached her ears, soft and haunting. "Help me." A chill ran down her spine. Would she discover the dark truth hidden within the lake's depths? Would she dare to plunge in and face whatever waited beneath? As doubt gripped her heart, so did a glint of steel from the kitchen counter catch her eye, a knife glimmering against the backdrop of stormy chaos. What was she willing to do to uncover the lake's secrets? And as the melody grew louder, beckoning her closer, the real question loomed: could she walk away, even if she dared to dive into the madness? The knife felt cold and heavy in Jennifer's hand, a dark promise of protection against the unknown. As the haunting lullaby wrapped around her, pulling at her consciousness like a siren's call, terror twisted with determination in her gut. What had she stumbled into? The figures, the whispers, everything condensed into a swirling storm of dread and intrigue. Lightning flickered again, and for the briefest instant, she thought she saw movement just outside the window. Heart racing, she turned, gripping the knife tighter as if it might ward off more than just fear. Shadows danced beyond the pane, twisting and shifting like trapped souls trying to escape. "Help me." The voice was clearer now. A child's voice, trembling in the wind. It clawed at her heartstrings, making her feel like she had no choice but to respond. But how, exactly, was she supposed to help a spirit? A shudder trickled down her spine, but she felt a flicker of resolve. There were stories here, stories buried beneath layers of water and sorrow. Before she could think it through, she crossed the threshold into the kitchen where the air grew colder. She knew she was risking everything, but the allure of answers pulled her closer. The lullaby became a cacophony, filling her mind to bursting. What secrets did the lake hold? What price would she have to pay? Jennifer stepped cautiously toward the door leading outside. The rain had turned from a steady stream into a torrential downpour, drenching everything in its path, but the chilling melody beckoned her onward. She slipped through the door, the knife held defensively against her thigh. The storm raged around her, the wind whipping relentlessly, but nothing compared to the tumult in her chest. She squinted against the rain, just in time to witness a glimmer, a figure just feet away from the shoreline. The silhouette was small, fragile, a child strikingly similar to the face she had seen moments ago at the window. "Please," it breathed, the word stuttering against the storm. "I'm lost." Her pulse raced. This wasn't some fevered nightmare. Jennifer felt the pull of the water, the sensation of her feet sinking into the mud as she trudged closer. "What happened?" she shouted into the storm, her voice small and uncertain. The figure's head tilted, and for a brief moment, she thought she saw hope flicker in its eyes. "Save me. You have to rescue me from him." "Who?" She didn't understand. There was no one here but her, the child, and the lake. The girl's eyes widened. "The man in the water. He won't let me go." The word sent a jolt through Jennifer, and she reached for the knife instinctively. A man? In the water? Questions spiraled in her mind, battling against the pounding of her heart. A sudden wave crashed at her feet, pulling at the earth beneath her. Panic rooted her in place. "What can I do? Please tell me." The spirits may be anchored to something deeper, an act of vengeance, a desperate plea for release. Dive, the child urged, her voice getting weaker, strained by the wind. You must dive into the lake. Instinct said run, curiosity said go deeper. Should she trust the voice of a drowned girl and plunge into a dark mystery? And then came the thunder, a roar that shook the very foundation of reality. The lake bubbled violently as if responding to her indecisiveness. Jennifer was faced with a choice, to abandon the girl to the depths or to leap into the waiting abyss, risking everything to uncover what lurked beneath the surface. What would she decide? And what awaited her in the darkness of those cursed waters? The decision clawed at Jennifer's mind, each second stretching into eternity. The air thickened with tension, a tangible force pressing against her chest. She could turn back, sprint to safety, drown out the haunting melody. Yet, somewhere deep inside, she felt the weight of the knife pulsate with silent urgency, demanding action. Please, the girl's voice trembled, surfacing above the storm. He'll take you too. With that haunting warning echoing in her ears, her heart raced faster. Could the mystery of the lake and its spectral inhabitants be tied to those she loved? What if this wasn't just about the child? What if it was larger, more sinister? There was only one way to find out. No. The word erupted from her throat. It was a battle cry, a promise to protect whoever or whatever she could. She stepped toward the water, feeling the mud squelch beneath her feet. The child's form flickered in and out, like a fading star. I'll dive, she shouted, more to herself than to the child. With a deep breath, she steadied her resolve, then plunged into the icy depths. The shock of chilling water ripped through her, freezing her breath in her lungs. Darkness enveloped her. The knife slipped from her fingers, falling into the gloom below. Panic surged as she kicked her legs, trying to swim but feeling the weight of the world pressing against her. Down! Someone whispered in the shadows, echoing the child's plea. She looked around, eyes wide, but saw only the pulsing darkness. The water swirled violently as though alive. Heart pounding, her instinct to survive propelled her deeper, arms thrashing as she fought against unseen tendrils tugging at her. Suddenly, a flash of light pierced through the depths, illuminating a figure, not the girl, but a man. His form twisted and distorted, an ethereal specter, his face a canvas of anguish. The water bubbled around him, rippling as he reached out a skeletal hand, beckoning her closer. Help me! The word came out in broken gurgles, a shattered plea that sent icy fingers crawling down her spine. No! She screamed, shaking her head frantically. Was he the one holding the girl captive? Was this the monster that shrouded the lake in its terror? Obscured pain flared through her, a rush of twisted memories flooding her mind. She couldn't breathe. The icy grip of fear threatened to pull her under. She had a decision to make: save the girl or confront this twisted apparition of despair. In a moment of clarity, Jennifer realized the water held more than just a spirit. It was a mirror reflecting every loss, every fear she had buried. The man was a thread weaving a horrific tapestry of tragedy. Drawing from her last reserves of strength, she pushed toward him, reaching out in defiance. Where is she? She shouted, her voice cutting through the terrifying silence. Where is the girl? His eyes darkened, swirling with sorrow and rage. You are too late. And just as suddenly, he vanished, fading with the dark as more crashing waves surged beneath her. Despair hung thick in the water, wrapping around her tightly. But Jennifer couldn't go down without a fight. Gritting her teeth, she turned, kicking hard toward the surface, lungs burning. The water ached around her like a vice grasping at her strength, but she clawed her way up, reaching for the light until everything went black. She broke the surface with a gasp, flinging her arms out in desperation and gasping for breath. The storm continued, a chaotic backdrop to her haggard fight, but the girl was gone, and so was the man's presence, leaving Jennifer alone in the center of a raging tempest. Confusion twisted within her. What had she just seen? Who would emerge from those depths next? As the waves churned, Jennifer felt something brush against her leg, a cold caress that sent another shiver cascading through her body. Squinting into the downpour, her heart sank. From the corner of her eye, she flicked a glance. There was something else rising from the murky water, an eerie figure pulling itself toward her. A new terror gripped her as she stumbled back. Who or what was coming for her now? The storm might have raged, but something deeper was awakening beneath the surface, and as she reeled back in shock, her thoughts echoed a only question: how much more would she have to sacrifice to uncover the truth? The figure emerged slowly, a ghostly shape shrouded in dark water. Jennifer held her breath, her heart thunderous in her ears. The energy of the storm cracked around her, but nothing compared to the dread pooling in her stomach. This was no ordinary creature. It was an amalgamation of despair and darkness, a pitiful sight that carried the weight of the abyss. Each moment stretched agonizingly as the figure crawled closer to the shore. Jennifer strained to see past the swirling rain, adrenaline pushing her into a half-ready stance. Was it another specter? Or something far more terrifying? "Don't be afraid." The voice was soft and lullaby-like, yet every word sent arrows of fear straight through her. Desperation radiated from the figure. Flashes of familiarity flickered in her memory, though she couldn't piece together why. "Who are you?" she yelled, her voice sharp against the howling winds. "Where's the girl?" But the figure only continued to advance, dripping and twisted, the water gushing off of its form like tears. A face broke through the thick fog, pale, gaunt, with hollow eyes that seemed to bore through to her very soul. Recognition struck her like lightning. It was the woman she had seen standing on the shore months before, seemingly lost in daydreams. But that was impossible, she had vanished without a trace. "Help me," the woman rasped, her body trembling as if the storm itself would shatter her. "You have to free us before he comes back." The ground beneath Jennifer shook with unease. "Us? Who else?" The woman's eyes widened, stepping closer, almost pleading. "The lake holds us, it won't let us go until you break the curse. You must face him." Jennifer took a hesitant step back, confusion churning alongside the dread. "Face who? What curse?" The specter's face twisted in anguish, the sorrow piercing Jennifer's heart like an exposed wire. "The keeper, he feeds on our fear. It's too late for me, but you can save her. You can't let him catch you." Too, with those electrifying words, a rumble echoed from the depths of the lake, an undercurrent of fear washed over her. She glanced downward, a feeling of dread overcome with the realization that something was awakening below the surface. A dark shape, shadowy and elongated, started rising from the depths, a monstrous figure that dwarfed the storm around them. Churning water cascaded off its bulging body, revealing grotesque features and slick scales. A ghastly grin curled from ear to ear, revealing jagged teeth that glistened in the sparse light. Jennifer's instincts screamed for her to flee, but the woman surged forward, blocking the path. "You have to confront him. Fight back, or he'll take you both." A swirling tempest of emotions welled up, fear, anger, and desperation tangled within her. But there was no time to think. With the grotesque specter advancing, doubt ignited in her heart. This was more than just a creature, it was a symbol of everything she had fought against in her life. Could she win against such despair? "Get out of the way!" she shouted, pushing past the ghostly woman, determined to confront this horror. But just before she could close the distance, everything fell silent. In that moment of stillness, the keeper's gaze locked onto hers, and she felt the world narrow around them. The air thickened once more. Something primal shivered in her bones. She couldn't succumb, not now, not ever. "What do you want?" she dared to ask, her voice steady even as her insides churned. The keeper's smile widened, a menacing glint in his eyes. "What I want," he growled, "is to feed on your fears, dear girl. Let them wash over you like the waves. Join us in our torment." And with that, darkness enveloped them all. In a split second, the lake erupted with thunderous waves, leaving Jennifer gasping for air. No longer was she just fighting for herself, the weight of the fates hung heavy on her shoulders. As panic surged, she felt the weight in her chest become unbearable. She needed to outsmart the keeper. But how? There was a chance, tiny, but possible. If she could harness the knife she had lost, perhaps she could reclaim her purpose. In the deafening chaos that ensued, a sinister whisper curled around her thoughts. Each question cycling through her mind dimmed her resolve. What was the price she would pay to stop the darkness from consuming her completely? Just as she began to turn for the shore, a horrifying realization sunk in. Something dark and unfathomable was still rising from the depths, and it wouldn't stop until it claimed her. But before she could react, a voice screamed her name from the distance, cutting through the torrential chaos. Could help really be on its way? And who, if anyone, could stand against the Keeper's terrifying grip? The thunder rolled like a beast awakening from its slumber, shaking the very ground beneath Jennifer's feet. She stood there, trembling, staring at the abomination rising from the lake, unsure if her heart would continue beating or surrender to the paralyzing fear clawing at her throat. Suddenly, the darkness around her faltered, letting in a flash of pale moonlight that illuminated the Keeper's haunting features, distorting the grotesque scene. Each guttural breath from the creature reverberated through the air, pulling her deeper into the nightmare. "Run!" came the echoing voice again, sharper now, bursting through the suffocating fog. But Jennifer couldn't locate the source. Her mind raced. Was it the woman? Or a rescue from the violent storm? "Stay focused, Jennifer," she whispered to herself, steeling her resolve. The echo of her own name reverberated in the winds, snapping her from the icy grip of fear. She glanced around frantically, searching for anything that could help, anything that could break the curse. Every muscle in her body screamed for her to flee. She couldn't abandon the girl, trapped wherever she was. But how could she confront the Keeper without succumbing to his deadly embrace? Fear will only amplify his power, the ghostly woman had said. Jennifer took a step forward, heart pounding, unwilling to let despair cloud her vision any longer. She had something he wanted, the very essence of her fear. With a determined cry, she turned back to the creature, her voice steady despite the quaking of her heart. "You think you can take me? You think I'll let you drown me in fear like the rest?" The Keeper moved closer, the air thick with malevolence. "It's not just your fear I seek, dear girl. I want you to feel the torment of those who came before you, wallow in it, taste it, let it fuel my hunger." Jennifer's throat felt tight as a visceral feeling of anguish pulsed through her. She could see it, the echoes of the trapped souls swirling around the Keeper like a dark cloud. Desperate whispers filled her ears, begging for release, and she could almost see their faces, twisted and lost. "Enough!" she yelled, anger igniting a spark within her. She had faced her demons before, she would not let him ensnare her in a web of despair. She wouldn't let their suffering be in vain. "I will not feed you. I will fight." With those words, adrenaline surged through her veins, fueling her courage. There had to be a way to break the curse. She needed to find the knife, the one she had lost, the one that could possibly sever the binds holding the trapped souls. Acting on instinct, she leapt towards the water, the waves crashing around her like angry fists. The Keeper lunged, tendrils of darkness reaching for her, desperate to ensnare her in his doom. "You can't escape the fear. It's a part of you now." Jennifer clutched her chest, feeling the rhythm of her heartbeat quicken. The desperation of the lost souls echoed in her mind, urging her on. She had to find the knife. Just as she submerged, the freezing water jolted her senses and the visions of the past rushed in. She reached down, searching the mud beneath her feet, the cold and filth wrapping around her like a shroud. Suddenly, her fingers brushed against something solid, a familiar handle. Relief flooded through her. For a fleeting moment, she had found it. As she grasped the knife, a surge of warmth seeped into her, pushing back against the dread that enveloped her, but as she broke the surface, gasping for air, the Keeper's roar echoed like thunder, shaking her resolve once more. "You think a mere weapon can stand against me? I won't let fear rule me," Jennifer shouted back, holding the knife aloft. "I have what I need to stop you." The lake roiled beneath her, darkness swirling in angry spirals. The Keeper hissed, his grotesque form recoiling as if struck. Then, from behind her, she heard a stronger voice, filled with urgency and resolve. "Jennifer!" Do not yield to him. We are with you. A flicker of hope ignited in her chest. Could it be the girl? Just as doubt began to claw back at her heart, the water surged violently, and the true nature of the storm revealed itself, a swirling portal of raging water and energy opening right in front of her. Would she harness the knife and fight against the darkness? Would she attempt to enter the portal, risking everything for the chance to save the lost souls? As chaos erupted around her, the true battle loomed on the horizon, and her choices felt heavier than ever. Would she dive in and risk everything, or stand her ground against the Keeper, hoping her courage could change their fates? Only time would unveil the secrets waiting beneath the surface. The air crackled with tension, as Jennifer stood there, knife raised, facing the Keeper whose eyes blazed like dying stars. The portal behind her roared, its watery edges shuddering with energy, while eerie whispers of countless lost souls mingled within the chaos. The Keeper snarled, his elongated fingers curling threateningly. "Foolish girl," his voice was a serrated whisper, "that weapon is nothing against the depths of despair I command." Jennifer's heart thudded violently in her chest, the taste of fear mixing with resolve. "You're wrong," she called out, her voice slicing through the cacophony. "I want to be swept away by your shadows. I'm not alone." The words rang out like a distant bell, and in that moment, the swirling chaos seemed to still. A flicker of light pulled her gaze was at the girl. Through the haze, she saw a figure emerging, drenched and panting, yet exuding strength. "Jennifer, the portal. We can break his hold," the girl screamed, her eyes wide with urgency. "We could channel our fears together." The Keeper let out a thunderous laugh, reverberating like a chilling echo in the storm. "You think you can defeat me with unity? They are weak. Their pain is my power." Fueled by instinct, Jennifer waded closer to the portal, the knife shimmering with hope. "We can turn your darkness against you," she shouted to the girl. "We must confront our fears." "I can't." The girl cried, eyes darting toward the Keeper, horror lurking behind them. If I let the memories surface, then don't remember." Jennifer countered, determination edging her tone. "Feel it. Embrace the fear instead of being consumed by it." The Keeper roiled in frustration, the shadows twisting violently, trying to drown them both. "You're wasting your breath." With a deep breath, Jennifer plunged the knife into the water, the silver blade cutting through the darkness, sharp and radiant. The moment it touched the surface, the air swirled around them, catching fragments of lost memories, flickers of anguish, laughter, and betrayal. "Do it," she urged, locking eyes with the girl. "Feel everything you've kept bottled up. Don't let him twist it into despair." One heartbeat, then another. The girl steadied herself, nodding as tears streamed down her cheeks. "You're right. I can't hide anymore." As they closed their eyes, a surge of energy enveloped them, feelings of loss and bravery flooding together like a tidal wave. They screamed together, voices merging into a powerful surge, channeling their grief toward the Keeper. "What is happening?" he roared, shock etching deeper into his monstrous features. The shadows writhed, twisting away from the light, and in that moment, the chaos thundered as if time itself had stopped. Black mist exploded, pushing back from the knife as the portal flickered with radiant energy. The souls trapped within the darkness began to take shape, reaching toward the light. "Help us!" they cried, voices echoing their desperation. "Reclaim them!" Jennifer shouted, a breakthrough rush surging through her veins. "They deserve to be free." But the Keeper, once colossal and terrifying, now curdled like a beast cornered. "No. I will not let them go. They are mine." With one final effort, the girl stepped forward through the surging light, her presence grounding Jennifer. Together, they hurled their combined anguish into the swirling vortex, a final act of defiance. The lake erupted. Eclipsing all sound, the Keeper staggered backward, his form buckling under the sheer weight of their fury. The water spiraled upward, a fountain of darkness caught in the grip of oblivion. And then a blinding flash light broke through, scattering the keeper's shadowy essence into fragments of nothingness that a deafening silence enveloped them as the storm dissolved. Jennifer fell to her knees, gasping, yet a strange calm washed over her. She felt lighter, the weight of trepidation slowly unspooling. But behind her, the portal shimmered ominously, still leaving spectral remnants of darkness swirling beneath the surface. "That's it?" the girl whispered, trembling. Was it enough? As hope lingered in the air, a chilling presence lingered. From the depths of the lake, glimmers of shadow began to reassemble, forming into relentless tendrils, reaching for both of them. "We have to go," Jennifer exclaimed, adrenaline spiking in her veins. They had ignited something dark, and they hadn't finished yet. The keeper may have been weakened, but he was far from defeated. As the lake churned violently beneath them, she felt the ominous weight of unfinished business gnawing at her insides. In that heart-stopping moment, she realized their struggle was just beginning. What else awaited them in the depths of the lake? Would they find the strength to face the horror again, or would they be swept away into the darkness once more? The swirling chaos of the lake pulsated, the once still surface now roiling with shadows that twisted and wriggled, eager to reclaim their hold. Jennifer's heart raced as she grabbed the girl's arm, pulling her back just as tendrils of darkness shot out like angry vipers from the depths. "Run!" she shouted, the word barely escaping her lips as the water spat and hissed. They took off, legs pounding against the damp ground, urgency propelling them forward. But the shadows were relentless. Dark fingers clawed at their ankles, tugging fiercely, as if the lake's very essence sought revenge. Jennifer stumbled, nearly losing her footing, but the girl held tight, her grip firm and reassuring. "Keep going. We have to reach the shore." They burst through the underbrush, breathless, bursting free from the clutches of the lake. Safely on land, they turned just in time to see the portal sputter and flare, the spectral shape still grappling with its seductive pull. An unholy wail erupted as the darkness shrieked in fury, the keeper's essence spiraling like a tornado, angry and agitated. Stop," Jennifer panted, her eyes wide with fear. "He'll keep coming for us." "Then we have to finish this, once and for all," the girl said, determination flashing in her eyes. "We have to find the heart of the lake." "Are you crazy?" Jennifer exclaimed, disbelief coloring her voice. "We just faced him. What if he is stronger now?" A grim understanding settled between them. They knew the darkness wasn't just something to be faced, it was something that had been fed by their fears. "We can't give him the power anymore," the girl insisted, her resolve hardening. "Whatever remains in there, we have to confront it together." Jennifer hesitated, but deep down, she felt that emerging spark of hope. Okay. But we have to be careful." They made their way back to the edge of the lake, this time more cautiously, aware of the danger lurking beneath the surface. As they neared the shore, the surface shimmered ominously. The water rippled as though alive, the faint echoes of souls caught in despair reaching out like phantom whispers. "Focus," the girl urged, closing her eyes. "We have to channel everything, our fears, our strength, even our doubts. If we stand together, we can make him feel our power." Jennifer nodded, heart pounding as they knelt at the water's edge. Holding hands, they closed their eyes tightly, breathing in sync. The air hummed, charged with an energy both thrilling and terrifying. "We will face you," Jennifer shouted, the words ripping from her throat, more a primal scream than a declaration. "You will not control us." As they chanted, the very fabric of the air thickened, the shadows around them swirling like a storm. The lake erupted with furious life, the keeper resurfacing in a spiral of anger and despair. His voice boomed, sounding more like a feral growl, "You cannot fight what you have become." Suddenly, memories flooded Jennifer's mind, her darkest fears, pain from her past, and the moments she thought would break her. It was overwhelming, but she forced herself to hold on, channeling that energy toward the water. "I am not afraid of you." Beside her, the girl mirrored her strength, a fierce defiance igniting. And just like that, they pulled their emotions into a swirling galaxy, a storm of unity that felt tangible. The more they gave in to their feelings, the stronger their power became. Light burst forth from their clasped hands, surging into the lake, illuminating the darkened depths. The keeper snarled, torn between fear and rage, as his shadows shrank under the bright push. No. You will be lost in the abyss. But Jennifer felt the brewing ferocity within her shift. Not today. Light exploded in a radiant flash, enveloping them both as the shadows twisted violently, finally revealing a path to the heart. But deep in that swirling chaos, shadows lurked with whispered promises and treachery, a final trick unseen. What if? A voice echoed in the depths. As a terrible roar erupted from the depths, shaking the ground beneath them. Jennifer knew there were still secrets waiting to drown them. Had they truly severed his ties, or was something far worse lurking beneath the surface, just waiting to strike? Would they prevail where others had failed, or find themselves ensnared in a new horror yet to be unveiled? The swirling light fell away, and the heart of the lake revealed its chilling depths, a pit of warring shadows and swirling sorrow. Jennifer felt a rush of fear wash over her. Despite the light that had just pulsed through them, the darkness coiled around the edges like a beast waiting to pounce. Keep your focus. The girl shouted, her voice breaking through Jennifer's swirling thoughts. They stood at the edge, trembling yet resolute. Together. Jennifer replied, forcing her gaze back to the roiling water. The chaotic clashing of light and dark filled the air, tension brewing like an electric storm. But just then, something shifted in the darkness. A figure flickered within the depths of the lake, glistening like a fish drawn to bait. Jennifer's heart raced. What is that? She murmured, dread creeping into her voice. Something trapped, the girl said, eyes narrowing. Something lost, we should be careful. But it was too late. With a shuddering gasp, something shot upwards, a shadowy claw reaching out beyond the surface. The air thickened as a deep, guttural laughter echoed, chilling them to their bones. Oh no, Jennifer whispered, shaking her head. It's him. The keeper surged to the surface, his form shifting like water itself. He was more monstrous now, twisted and elongated, his eyes like shards of ice. You think your light can save you? He sneered, and the shadows around him pulsed in glee, eager to reclaim their lost power. Stand firm. The girl yelled, pulling Jennifer closer, their hands still intertwined. They summoned their courage, drawing strength from the light they had ignited. We face you. We bring our truth. Jennifer shouted again, her voice rising above the keeper's laughter, surprising herself. You're nothing without our fear. The keeper's expression twisted, a flicker of uncertainty darting across his shadowy visage. Fear is the only path, he hissed back, his body trembling as if the very foundation of his being was being challenged. Behind them, the wind whipped through the trees, the night loud with whispers that crept into their ears. He's right, a voice chanted, echoing across the lake. He feeds on your doubts and your darkness. You'll never win. The girl's grip tightened, her brow furrowing. Don't listen. He's trying to turn us against each other. Jennifer took a deep breath. Each of her secrets, doubts, and fears tingled at her fingertips, raw emotions she'd buried for so long. Could she use this against him? It was time to fight back, not just for them but for every soul he had consumed. Let us show him. She shouted, determination igniting a fierce warmth in her core. As they stood together, the shadows clawed at the edges of their minds, whispering old fears. But instead of breaking them, those memories strengthened their resolve. Each dark thought swirled inside them, igniting a fiery halo of light as they turned it outward. With a collective scream, they unleashed their combined strength into the lake. The light shot like a spear into the heart of the darkness, illuminating the chaos within. The keeper's laughter turned to a snarl, shadows twisting violently as his form flickered. You think you can fight me? He bellowed, struggling against the radiant assault. You're only feeding my power. But Jennifer felt it, he was faltering. This is not your realm. She shot back, heart pounding, and the very air sang with the defiance she felt. You will not conquer us. But just as victory seemed within grasp, a powerful force erupted from the depths. The water surged, swallowing their light, threatening their bond. A colossal wave swelled, reflecting their fears in its depths, and suddenly, reality twisted around them. What if we fail? A haunting echo whispered, sending chills cascading down Jennifer's spine. They teetered on the edge of despair, shadows clawing back to reclaim the light. Was this power truly theirs to command? Could they rip apart the Keeper's grip once and for all, or were they doomed to feed his desires? The Keeper's form began to dissolve into darkness, but in that very moment of hope, a doubt flickered. In the corner of Jennifer's mind. As the surge of water crashed toward them, she faced the truth. Was fighting this darkness worth the risk of losing their souls? Just then, the darkness roared anew, its chilling voice reverberating. The choice is yours, little ones. Join me, or be consumed. In that stark moment, they had to choose their path. One direction led to a flicker of liberation, the other, to an abyss of despair. The stakes had never been higher, and the truth loomed heavy as they stood on the precipice of potential doom. What were they willing to sacrifice to conquer what lay beneath? The moon hung high again over Lake Shadowtide, an eerie witness to the struggle that had unfolded. The waves, once fierce, now lapped gently against the shore, almost as if the lake was holding its breath. Jennifer and the girl, their hands still joined, stood on the edge of that calm water. The storm had passed, but the tension in the air sparked like live wire. Did we do it? The girl asked, her voice barely above a whisper. She looked up at Jennifer, their faces illuminated by moonlight. Hope flickered in her eyes but was shadowed by uncertainty. I think we did, Jennifer replied, though the fear gnawed at her heart. But this lake, it has too many secrets. We may have just survived the Keeper, not vanquished him. The dark surface of the water shimmered, whispering entreaties to them. She could feel the weight of the haunted past pressing against her chest. Beads of anxiety rolled down her spine. What if this was simply a moment of respite, a false calm? From the depths, the echoes of the lost souls persisted, whispers blending into a haunting symphony. Help us, they breathed, each word a melodic entreaty, wrapping around Jennifer and the girl like fog. The girl tugged at Jennifer's sleeve, her voice urgent. We need to make sure they're freed. Before he comes back. Together, they took a trembling step closer, steeling their resolve. We won't let them suffer any longer, Jennifer declared, voice unwavering now. As they knelt at the shore, a spark ignited within her, a fierce determination to command their fate rather than be swept aside. Together. Jennifer urged, squeezing the girl's hand tightly. We can do this. We have to channel ourselves, our fears, our strength, everything. The girl nodded, eyes shining fiercely. Drawing deep breaths, they closed their eyes, summoning the strength of shared memories, the laughter, the fears, the vibrant pain of betrayal, and every ounce of hope they held. The lake roared and churned, shadows swirling in a tempest. Jennifer felt the energy building as she opened her heart. We release every part of us that the Keeper tried to use against us. She cried, her voice rising over the chaos. You have no hold here. A brilliant pulse of light erupted from their clasped hands, spilling across the surface of the water. The shadows recoiled as if stung, the air now thick with charged energy. You will be free. The girl shouted, her spirit undeterred, eyes blazing. In that breathtaking moment, everything became clear. The spirits trapped within the lake surged forth, reclaiming their strength as they merged with the radiant light. Faces of the lost appeared, shimmering with gratitude and anticipation, their cries of despair transformed into cheers for liberation. Together. Jennifer shouted again, and the lake shimmered with vibrant life, a beacon against the darkness. The Keeper rose, thrashing against the tide of light, his form contorting as he roared, You think you can steal them from me? I feed on shadows. But a sudden flash of energy surged through Jennifer. We will not be consumed. With a collective shout, they directed their light toward the keeper. The shadows shrieked as he thrashed violently, darkness spilling like ink in water as they transcended beyond him. Yet instead of despair, they encountered glorious harmony. In an immense burst, the figures emerged from the water, ethereal and strong, coalescing in a radiant torrent that swept away the keeper's essence. He roared in helpless fury, dissolving at their feet. The grip of shadows finally shattered under the power of their courage. Just as abruptly, silence blanketed the lake. The storm was over. Jennifer and the girl fell to their knees, breathless but free of fear. A bright clarity washed over them. The keeper was gone, at least for now, and the darkness that stalked behind had been truly put to rest. "We did it," the girl murmured, tears glistening in her eyes. They gazed out at the tranquil water, now reflecting the calming moonlight, no longer a mirror of fear and despair. "Yeah, we did," Jennifer replied, feeling both lighter and stronger than ever before. She thought of all that they'd overcome, the fear, the torment, the unknown. And yet, dawn was breaking within her. They had not just survived, they had reclaimed their power. With one last look at Lake Shadowtide, they knew their journey together might not be over. There would always be shadows lurking. But they would meet those shadows head-on, armed with the memories that transformed fear into light. As they turned away from the lake, stepping into their new dawn, Jennifer felt hope swell within her heart. She would never walk this path alone again. It was time to embrace whatever the future held. Thank you for joining this thrilling ride. Now, do not let this moment slip away. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories that will chill you to the bone. Smash the like button now to feed the algorithm and show your support for the spine-tingling tales we share. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about the ending. Your thoughts are precious and deserve to be heard. Don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. True fans understand how important it is to spread the word about our channel. Let's keep the horrors alive.